This is a true story about a girl with an emotionally abusive father. Her parents were divorced, so she was with him for extended amounts of time. From his abuse, she developed anxiety and physical issues. She tried to speak out against him for help, but some told him, making him more angry and more abusive. He was like a switch. He would be happy one second and then turn into a monster the next. Children should have the choice. They shouldn't be forced to stay with an emotionally abusive parent. In my audience analysis survey, I asked the question, do you know a person or people who have a toxic parent, and are these parents physically abusive or emotionally abusive or both? 77.78% said they knew someone with a toxic parent, and 55.55% said that they were emotionally abusive or both. So the audience has some knowledge about this topic, but it's important for them to have more so they can look out for warning signs and be able to help these children. I've had personal experience with this topic, and I've written papers on them and done more research about it, and it all matched up with my prior knowledge. Using Monroe's motivated sequence, I'll propose the need, why children should be taken from emotionally abusive homes, how to satisfy that need, what will happen if the need is satisfied, and a call to action for you to help. Now, what is emotional abuse anyway, and why is it a big deal? Why should children be taken? Children can develop many long-term issues from emotional abuse. In the survey, I asked, do you think issues can culminate from having a toxic parent? If so, what issues? All of 9 respondents answered yes, and respondent number 8 said, yes, physical injury, lack of self-worth, PTSD, anxiety, depression, alcohol and drug abuse, the list goes on. In August of 2015, in their article, State Policies Addressing Child Abuse and Neglect, Holly Hendrickson and Kate Blackman defined emotional abuse as referring to actions and behaviors that harm a child's sense of self-worth or emotional well-being. When around their parent, children may feel like they're worthless. According to Sherry Gordon at verywellmind.com in September of 2018, if the emotional abuse is severe and ongoing, the victim may lose their sense of self-worth and become internally critical. Gordon also says emotionally abusive people display unrealistic expectations for their children. They expect them to be perfect. They invalidate their children, accusing them of being crazy. They create chaos with their drastic mood changes. They use emotional blackmail, making them feel guilty for things they shouldn't. They act superior and entitled, saying the child's thoughts are stupid. They attempt to isolate and control their children. They determine who they spend time with, if anyone. They monitor phone calls between them and their other parent. They use a GPS to track their location, and they treat them like a possession. According to the article, Preventing Emotional Abuse from PreventChildAbuse.org in 2018, the emotional abuse of children may be the most damaging form of maltreatment, affecting their emotional and physical health, as well as their social and cognitive development. According to Anne Petrangelo on May 18, 2018, on healthline.com, there are many short and long-term effects, including confusion, fear, hopelessness, anxiety, depression, difficulty concentrating, nightmares, rapid heartbeat, low self-esteem, and PTSD. While emotionally abused children often feel helpless, there are ways that they can be helped. There are conventional treatments for emotionally abused children, but they often don't work, so the best way for them is to be removed from the toxic parent's home. Again, in my survey, I asked the question, do you believe children should have a choice whether they see their toxic parent? If so, why? All 9 again answered yes, and respondent number 7 said, yes, people should be able to choose how they live their lives, and they should not be forced into situations that are not good for them. Again, the article Preventing Emotional Abuse from PreventChildAbuse.org says, mental health services can help ease some consequences of emotional abuse. But according to Chapter 7 of the book, Understanding Child Abuse and Neglect by the National Research Council in 1993, however, they say child abuse and neglect continue despite early intervention, and treatment programs have been relatively ineffective in halting abusive behavior. According to Alea Carey from Healthline.com in May of 2018, one thing you can do is to offer to babysit or run errands with the child to get them away from their parent. However, she warns, don't do anything that would increase the risk of them being abused. Let's take a look at what children would look like if they were removed from their parents' home. If children are taken from abusive homes, they'll no longer be anxiety-ridden. They'll be able to build up their self-esteem again and heal physically and mentally. They won't have to worry about what their parent will be like when they wake up in the morning or when they get home from school. Now that you've seen how children would be better off away from their parent, let's recap what we've heard so far. First, I gave the reasons the issue needs to be addressed. Then the satisfaction for the need, and finally, the visualization, how the children will be once taken from their emotionally abusive parent. Under Section 3109.04 of the Ohio Revised Code, obtained from codes.ohio.gov, it stated that in determining the best interest of a child, the court shall consider all relevant factors, including the wishes and concerns of the child's interaction with both parents, and the physical and mental health of all persons involved, whether either parent has been or there's any reason to believe that they're abusive. It's also stated that in determining whether shared parenting is the best interest of the child, the court shall consider all factors, including the ability of a parent to encourage the sharing of love, affection, and contact between the child and the other parent, and the history of or potential for child abuse. Now, while this is all said, children usually do not get taken away from emotionally abusive homes, and they have to live with the abuse for years. So I say we take a stand against this type of abuse, whether we get jobs as therapists or one within the courts or politics, start a movement, or just offer to listen to and help children that are in emotionally abusive homes. We can work to give the children a right to choose and have the option to be removed from the emotionally abusive home. The girl at the beginning has since been taken from her father's care. She's become healthier, easier on herself, more confident, and her anxiety is not nearly as bad. That being said, however, she's still forced to see her father 2 times a month in public space for dinner, where he continues the abuse, subtly so no one else notices. From the years of abuse, she should be able to choose whether she sees him or not, as all children should be able to.